Okay, today we are talking about word problems and how you translate words into algebra, being equations and inequalities. So describe the difference in a word problem that is written for an equation and a word problem that's written for an inequality. The problems that have is or is equal to, we will write those as equations. And then problems with different phrases such as is less than, is greater than, maximum, minimum, and so on will be inequalities. We have a vocabulary activity. I pass out this paper and I will be uploading that to Google Classroom. And so we are going to match the symbol with the phrase. So has a result of. E. Okay. At least. What is at least? C, which is what? Greater than or equal to? Okay. A maximum of. A. Less than or equal to. At most. A. So less than or equal to. Equals. E for equals. Below. Yep. Less than, which is D. Above. B, greater than. Minimum of. That means it could have this, but it can also go above. C, greater than or equal to. Less than. D, less than. Greater than. B. Is equal, yeah. No more than. A, so it has to be less than. If it's no more, then it has to be less than. Oh, A. Greater than or equal to. C. And then no less than. C. Okay, so make sure you have that matching mine. Okay, let's look at that paper that I passed out. And we are going to write just a few notes on there to help us remember the ones that get confusing. The ones that get confusing are the ones that have turnaround or parentheses. Okay, so let me pull up my my composition book.
Do we glue this in to our composition book?
Yes, or we could, yeah, we're going to glue it in. All right, so this is the paper. So these are pretty straightforward. Something that people get confused on a lot would be anytime we have, let me find a pen. Anytime we say like less than right here, less than means subtract, but is less than means it's an inequality. So if it says 5 less than 2, then that means a subtraction problem. But it's actually a turnaround problem, okay? So let's write the turnaround problem. So anytime we have is something or is, that's going to mean equation or inequality. These do not have is. It just says less than, or it says greater than, added to, some. This is your operations over here. And then these right here deal with equations and inequalities. But these are your operations. Okay, so turnaround phrases. That's where you turn around the numbers. So I'm going to give you an example of that. 2 less than 16. When you have a number less than another number, that means you're going to turn these around. Less than is your turnaround phrase, and it's listed over here, turnaround phrase. If I say 2 less than 16, that means 16 minus 2. Because less than 16 means you have 16, and then you take 2 away from it. Okay, another one would be 5 more than 18. Oh, I forgot to write this equals 14. There we go. So 5 more than 18. More than is an addition problem, and it's also a turnaround problem. Oh, I was supposed to do 18. Let me change that. 18 plus 5. Which is 23. But if I were to write this the opposite way, if I were to write 5 plus 18, wouldn't I still get 23? Okay. So with addition, it's not critical like it is for subtraction. Because if I do subtraction, if I do 2 minus 16, that changes my answer to a negative. It's a negative 14. So that's why we have to pay attention to these turnaround phrases so that we actually turn around the numbers and do the operation. With subtraction, it's critical. With addition, it's not, because the order in which you add things doesn't matter, but the order that you subtract things does. Okay, let's do another one. 12 subtracted from 30. So subtracted from, that means you have 30 and you're subtracting 12 from it. So that's another turnaround. 12 subtracted from 30. That means 30 minus 12 equals 18. Okay. Next one is 1 fewer than 9. One fewer than 9. So that means I have 9 and I'm taking 1 from it. So we're going to turn around the words. So it's 9 minus 1, which is 8. Okay. 6 divided into 24. Six divided into 24. So divided into is a turnaround word. You're dividing 6 into 24, meaning you're going to do 24 divided by 6. Which equals 4. Okay, so that's turnaround phrases. Okay, the other one that can be confusing is the parentheses. Parentheses is your groupings. Deals with groupings. So let's see. Parentheses, it says the quantity twice the sum plus the difference times the difference. So we're going to write two examples. 5 times the sum of x and 2. So whenever it says 5 times the sum, it's not saying 5 times x. It's saying 5 times the sum. So you're multiplying 5 times the sum of x and 2. The sum of x and 2 would be basically in your parentheses. It's not saying 5 times x. It's saying 5 times the sum. So that means it's 5 times the sum of x and 2. So in a problem like this, it's important to distribute the 5 to every term, right? So when we distribute, it's not 5x plus 2, it's 5x plus 10. Okay, the next thing is the last example is the quantity. 5x raised to the second power. So this is saying the quantity 5x is being raised to the second power. So since it says quantity, I'm going to put parentheses around 5x. And I'm going to raise that to the second power. So it's squared. Parentheses are important here too, which you'll learn later on this year about 5x being raised to the second power. What that really means is 5 raised to the second power and x raised to the second power. But we're going to leave it just like that for now. Okay, so we are going to fold this like a brochure and put it in our journal. If you don't have this paper, you need to write it down in your journal. Write down each one of these. I'm going to post the picture.